Okay, everyone, Dr. Lindner, we are looking at the skull, and we're going to focus on this section on some of the sutures. Now, sutures are these unions, these fused, joined, linear unions of where bones come together. Okay, so just to give you an orientation, we're looking at the superior view. It's a bird's eye view. We're looking down on the top of the skull. Right here is the nose. So we know that this is anterior. Right here is anterior. And then back here is the posterior part, because here's the occiput, which is the back of the head. So in the front, we have this frontal bone. And then we have these paired parietal bones. So this is the right parietal bone, and this is the left parietal bone. And then in the back, we have the occiput, the occipital bone. Let me just move this out of the way. Okay, so we're going to focus on this line here. That's the lambdoidal suture, lambda, lambda, lambda. Looks like the Greek letter lambda. Right here, separating into a left and right half, right? That's the sagittal suture. Remember the sagittal plane that we learned in an earlier lab. The sagittal plane separates into right and left halves. So this is the sagittal suture. Then we have this suture going across. Across is the coronal. Coronal is across. That's the coronal suture. Okay. Now we look at it here, and we can see the sagittal suture, again, separating into a right and left half. And then we have the coronal going across. We can't see the lambdoidal, but that lambdoidal would be back here. If the skull was tilted just a little bit more, we'd be able to see it. But we can rotate it now. So now we're looking at the posterior view, and we can see the left and the right parietal bones. We can see the sagittal suture, and now we see the occipital bone, known as the occiput or occipital bone. Then we could see lambda, lambda, lambda. That's the lambdoidal suture. Okay. Now on the side of the skull, we could start to see a little bit of this squamous suture. Now remember, squamous cells, those are those flat, irregular shaped cells that we call squamous cells, right? So when we turn this to the side, we'll be able to see the squamous portion, but that's the squamous suture between the parietal and temporal bone. Okay, so again, sagittal, lambdoidal. This is the parietal bone, other parietal bone, they're paired, and then we have the occipital bone. Okay, so now from the lateral view, looking at it from the side, we could see the frontal bone, one of the parietal bones. We could see half of the occipital bone, and here's the right temporal bone. This is the squamous suture, right? Going this way. The squamous is like this, and the lambdoidal is going the opposite way there. Okay. Here in the purple is the sphenoid. Whenever you hear the word sphenoid, you automatically think butterfly. Okay. When I say sphenoid, you think butterfly. When I say sphenoid, you think butterfly or bat. Either way, you could think butterfly or bat. Just think of the wings of a butterfly or the wings of a bat. You'll see why that will be important shortly. What else do we see here? Just to lay down some foundational stuff, here's the lower jaw, that's known as the mandible. And the upper jaw here is the maxillary, or the maxilla. The maxilla. Okay, maxilla is the top bone, mandible is the lower bone. Okay. From the side view, here's the coronal suture. Here's the squamous suture. Here's the lambdoidal suture. Parietal bone, frontal bone, temporal bone, mandible, maxilla, occiput. Let's throw a new one in here. How about mastoid process? Mastoid process. We'll throw that new one in there. We got a few M's there. Mastoid process. And how about here? Sphenoid. What do you think of when I say sphenoid? You think butterfly or bat? Butterfly or bat when I say sphenoid?